Wrestling with regret. Let's get it, yeah!
In pro wrestling, presentation is everything. History shows time and again that the way a wrestler looks or carries themselves is way more important than things like actual in-ring ability. And in my opinion, the most important part of that presentation? The entrance music. A wrestler's theme song is literally the first thing a new audience member will learn about them. In just those first few seconds, a good theme can drum up all sorts of emotions: joy, anger, excitement, disgust, anxiety, and relief, to name a few. Ever since it became the norm to come out to music, many of wrestling's biggest names have had catchy and memorable themes to help build their legend. On the flip side, having a bad entrance theme could sink a wrestler's potential faster than anything. I mean, look at the Red Rooster, for instance. You see the name, the hair, the walk, it's bad, but I don't know, maybe it's salvageable. But then you hear that music, the rooster call, the cheesy synth, the little whip sound effects. Who even in 1991 could get excited for that? And look at Rob Conway, one of the brightest stars OVW had alongside guys like Cena, Lesnar, and Orton, a real solid talent. And the best WWE could come up with for him was... just look at me. Ugh. The point is, for as many great themes there are that resonate in our heads to this day, there are still a lot of bad ones that can linger. And this week, 10 years to the day I put out the last one, I'm gonna rank them again, my list of 8 more of the worst wrestling themes of all time. Be sure to subscribe to Wrestling with Regret to get more stuff like this. Let's begin. Number 8. For all intents and purposes, Ric Flair has one and only one entrance theme. That iconic orchestral classic, also Sprach Zufthansa. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that is not a song that needs changing. Pretty much anyone can use it freely, but leave it to the WWF to make something their own just to ruin it. It's so off-putting for how unlike the original it sounded when Flair first came to the Federation in 1991. Like someone heard Flair's original theme one time, waited a month, then tried to replay it from memory on a Casio keyboard. It's bad enough they had to blur out the WCW title when the Nature Boy first showed up. This song feels like the auditory equivalent of blurring out Alpo Sprocket Zulathrusta, or whatever it's called. They could try to Jimmy Hart it up all they want, but Flair's original theme is just too cool to mess with. In trying to put their own spin on it, the WWF just made it sound Bush League. Number 7. 10 years ago, I suggested that Ass Man was one of the worst wrestling themes of all time. But in the decades since, I realized just how wrong I was. Obviously, I should have included this Billy Gunn theme instead. After Billy's disastrous solo push in 1999 and his time off due to injury in early 2000, Gunn needed a fresh start upon returning, and his theme was a big part of that rebrand. Now the one Billy Gunn, his act was no longer about how much he loved butts, but how much he loved himself.
Look at all I've got, but to make a blind man see everything you wish you had, but God gave it all to me.
Wow, what a baby face.
On occasion, my reflection puts me on. I got it all.
It sounds like they used the same vocalist from Ass Man, so I appreciate the continuity there. That guy's just part of the gimmick now. But in terms of subject matter and melody, it's pretty meh.
So give in to your emotion and let your envy fall, 'cause I got it all.
Oh, is that what he says there? I could have swore it was something else.
And let your envy fall.
Something incorrigible.
And let your envy fall.
I'm a dirigible. And to top it all off, the arrangement sounds like the most sitcom opening ass theme I'd heard on WWF TV since Beaver Cleavage. The day I saw someone line it up with the opening credits to Step by Step, it was like a revelation. Number 6. What's one of the best ways to telegraph that a babyface wrestler has turned heel, or that a heel wrestler has suddenly turned more heel? By slowing down their previously established entrance theme. It worked for guys like Eddie Guerrero, The Rock, undashing Cody Rhodes, Jimmy Uso, but not so much for this guy. When Steve Austin turned heel at WrestleMania 17, it bummed out a lot of people, but hey, at least he got to keep that sweet Disturbed theme. Then came the Invasion storyline and his second heel turn when he joined the Alliance. Now, for most of that run, about SummerSlam 2001 onward, Stone Cold had a pretty sweet heel theme that was unique enough and catchy enough to stand out on its own. But for the first couple of weeks of this period, he came out to this slow slog of a cover. Austin's old theme is ass-kicking energy personified, so I can understand why they wanted to do that hard pivot. The song is meant to suck. You're supposed to hate him for that. But even more than him joining the Alliance, I would be so bold as to guess that this is what turned so many fans off of the WWF at the time. Why else do you think they shit-canned the song after a fortnight? Number 5. When deciding on a theme, you have to take into consideration the tune, the vibes, the overall... Anyway, you don't want to venture too far into meme territory because after some time has passed and the context is forgotten, God, I hate this song. Number 4. In ECW, Rob Van Dam came out to Walk by Pantera. In WWE, he came out to One of a Kind by Breaking Point. Both those songs kicked all kinds of ass and were fun to sing and hum along to. In terms of themes, RVD was 2 for 2, until he crossed the line. Now, most TNA themes around this time had lyrics that were fairly biographical. They told you who the wrestler was, where they were from, their likes and dislikes, that sort of thing. But not for Mr. Van Dam. Along with one of the most ear-splitting guitar riffs you'll ever hear, the lyrics are embarrassingly basic. It's literally name, nickname, repeat, then they just list off some of his moves, which could have worked had they not run out after 2. Maybe it was just wishful thinking that he would come up with a couple of more moves while he was there and they had some names at the ready. I can't get over how annoyingly simple this song is. Sometimes less is more, but this did Mr. Monday Night a huge disservice. I don't want to resort to a hack joke and ask, I wonder what the band was smoking when they came up for this, but I mean, it's right there. The only way I'd get over this song is if Van Dam got back in the ring and finally busted out that mythical Van Assassinator. And speaking of annoying TNA themes, number 3. I'm glad that Jeff Jarrett has been around long enough for fans to finally come around to him and begin to appreciate his contributions to the wrestling business. Because up until a few years ago, his public perception was overwhelmingly negative for a lot of reasons, this song being one of them. Night after night, week after week, year after year, loyal TNA fans were forced to endure at least a double dose of Bree Woo, as Jarrett's reign of terror over Impact Wrestling had put Triple H's in WWE to shame. When this song played, you knew you were in for at least 2 levels of bullshit. Let's talk about those lyrics. The first thing we hear is what sounds like a dying old man letting out one last cackle before leaving his mortal coil. Then we get into the verses. It's his world, he's the king, and so on. Then... He ain't dead, he ain't the rock. Don't wanna hear your big mouth talk in my world. That's right, folks. Jeff Jarrett is definitely not The Rock. They felt the need to remind you that Jarrett is in no way, shape, or form like one of the biggest crossover stars the industry has ever seen. Just in case you hadn't figured that out yourself. At some point, someone must have gotten in his ear and said, hey, maybe this comparison is a bit much. So they went ahead and changed it ever so slightly. He ain't dead, he ain't dead. Well, he's not dead, he's not The Rock, and he's not Jack either. So that really narrows it down. I get high. What? It's my belief that Jeff Jarrett's incomprehensible dominance over TNA is one of the many factors as to why the company had such a hard time building a consistent fan base since the inception. Again, I'm glad he's getting a victory lap in AEW, but let us never forget what The Last Outlaw and his very, very bad theme song did to the business in the before time. Number 2. You know, sometimes I wonder, did Brutus Beefcake know that he was within his rights to say no to an idea once in a while? Poor Ed Leslie went through so many gimmick changes in his career, it's kind of amazing he turned out as well balanced as he did. Things got really out of hand during his time in WCW when his character changed an average of 2 or 3 times a year. After playing the Zodiac in the Dungeon of Doom, Brother Brutai made the natural progression into becoming the Booty Man, a guy who was in love with his own ass. Obviously something Billy Gunn would nick just a few years later. It just keeps going on like this. Does anyone get pumped up and ready for a wrestling match when they hear this song? Do the fans? Does the Booty Man? It's hard to believe that a gimmick as deeply layered and nuanced as this didn't last long. By the end of '96, the Booty Man was sent to the trash bin of wrestling history, and this terrible theme song along with it. Before I play you the worst of the worst, here are a few dishonorable mentions. The Reba Giggle. I'm cheating a little here because I don't believe this remixed song, which was released as part of a themes album, was ever officially used. But after some viewers brought this to my attention, well, how could I resist? I have a love-hate relationship with it. What can I say? Michael Hayes' theme from Legends of WrestleMania. Look, Bad Street USA is hands down one of the best wrestling themes of all time. And you would think that Michael Hayes, a WWE lifer, would have been glad to let THQ use the song in the Legends of WrestleMania video game from 2009. But I guess he didn't, and this is what they came up with instead. Free bird running wild and free. What the hell is that?
Free birds on to mess with. We'll always get our way. And if you try and stop us, you'll be going down today.
Fans have long theorized that The Undertaker himself voiced the raps in this song, but I don't think the dead man would debase himself over a cameo like this. Hayes barely qualifies to be in this game in the first place, considering his only Mania appearance came in the Gimmick Battle Royal in 2001. But if they couldn't even get the rights to the coolest thing about him, then why even bother? Yes, I only added this song so I'd finally have the chance to complain about it. The noise themes. You know the ones I'm talking about. Right to Censor, TL Hopper, Isaac Yankem DDS, Diesel's first theme, Don Callis' Brown Noise, all of them. Songs specifically designed to annoy the fans, to scratch at your eardrums and pierce all the way into your brain. Just because a song is successful at garnering heat doesn't mean that they are actually good. I know that I listed RTC's theme in the original countdown, but it's worth reinducting just to give these other ones a moment to shine. Def Rebel. Just Def Rebel. For the last 5 years, WWE themes have been almost exclusively produced by Def Rebel, a band out of New York. After years of outcry from the fans over how bland their work was, the lads were released by the company at the end of 2024. Now, I'm rarely one to celebrate someone's firing, but I think it was high time that these two parties moved on from each other. If you're wondering why the last few Royal Rumbles have had plenty of moments like this, all right, let's go! 3, 2, 1! Who's... Oh, it's that guy! Well, you've got these guys to thank. From 2019 to 2024, Def Rebel set a new standard for musical mediocrity in the world of sports entertainment. The gang utilized a very predictable formula. It was catchphrase, then some of the most generic, uninspired music you could think of. It all just kind of sounds the same. Remember the good old days when Jimmy's Hart and Johnston made the kind of themes that could stand the test of time, that were distinct enough that you could immediately tell who it was without having a voice to remind you at the start? I'm honestly hard-pressed to think of one amazing theme they'd come up with in the last 5 years. I also can't think of any truly shitty songs they've done either, which I suppose is also indicative of how similar their work is. And now that the company is free from Def Rebel's grasp, I believe it will only be a matter of time before our ears can finally heal. And my pick for the #1 worst wrestling theme of all time this time around is... As I alluded to earlier in this video, I was suggested a good number of these themes by my fans on social media. And I don't usually like to let public opinion sway the way I rank these videos, but one listen to this song and, well, I gotta admit, you regretters had it pegged. No, TNA, that is not the version I am talking about. I mean, the Arabian music is a little on the nose here, but no, I'm talking about the original version of this theme. The one you guys used for a very brief period of time, then stopped for very painfully obvious reasons. That version.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. What more can I say? So what other terrible themes did I miss out on after 10 years? Drop a few bars in the comments section and, well, maybe I'll talk about them in 2035. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.